Throughout the course of the series, Daenerys Targaryen has been a woman who has never known a true home. As a child, she was constantly on the move with her brother Viserys from Robert Baratheon's assassins. So for a long time, her desire to get to Westeros isn't so much to do with the crown necessarily, as her brother Viserys is the true heir in season 1, but it's her desire to get home, to belong somewhere.
I want to go home. I pray for home too.
This is not my home. My home is across the sea where my people are waiting for me.
But this is not my home.
So you get the idea, the theme of home is pretty central to Daenerys' character throughout the course of the show. But what's interesting, at least to me, is this scene in 702 when she's got home to Dragonstone and it's a complete disappointment to her and all she can think about is leaving.
On a night like this, you came into the world.
I remember that storm. All the dogs in King's Landing howled through the night.
I wish I could remember it. I always thought this would be a homecoming. It doesn't feel like home.
We won't stay on Dragonstone for long.
Good.
Now this might not seem like a big deal, no one focuses on the fact that Daenerys is really disappointed with Dragonstone and the conversation quickly moves on to more important things. But in terms of Dany's character development, it's actually a really important moment where we can see how her character and priorities have completely switched since season 1 because of everything she's been through. See, if anywhere should feel like home to Daenerys Targaryen, it's Dragonstone. Dragonstone is a stronghold that Aenar Targaryen, Dany's ancestor, built when he fled Valyria with his family, about 12 years before the Doom. And they stayed here for about 100 years before Aegon and his sisters even looked west to conquer Westeros.
I always thought this would be a homecoming. It doesn't feel like home.
We won't stay on Dragonstone for long.
Good.
Notice how quickly Dany latches onto the idea of leaving Dragonstone, the place her family lived for 400 years. She doesn't feel any sentimentality or emotions really towards Dragonstone. She just wants to get to that next step, and the next step is King's Landing and conquering Westeros. Because that young innocent girl we saw in the pilot who only wanted to have a home is gone. Because a lot of Dany's journey throughout the seasons has been about her gaining more strength and power as an individual, her goal then becomes more about gaining the seat of ultimate power, obviously which she sees as the Iron Throne. So by this point, by the time she's at Dragonstone, why would being at home be important to her? It's just getting in the way of reaching that ultimate goal, which is the Iron Throne. And this idea of Dany letting go of her desire for a home and constantly instead focusing on the next position of power and how much power she can gain is again reflected in 806 when she's taken King's Landing. She has Westeros, her home, everything she's wanted thus far in theory. But it's not enough. Well, what can she do next? How can she get that next position of ultimate power? And that's liberating / conquering the rest of the world. And it's kind of how far can she go? How far can she push all of this power that she's gained for herself? You know, a woman who started off as this innocent, exiled princess is now a conqueror. How far can she push that? So just to sum everything up, you know, over the series run, Daenerys' desire to have a home and to belong somewhere becomes completely overshadowed by her immense strength and power as a character, and that is what becomes her driving force, even though she still might be telling herself that it's all to get home. And then when she finally gets to these places which she thought she would belong, and the places she assumed were her home, like first Dragonstone and then King's Landing, it starts to mean nothing to her. She's a woman without a home, without a place to belong, so why not focus on conquering the world instead?